Hello students, welcome to my YouTube channel Civil Line. Myself Milan Patel, Assistant Professor at LJIET Institute of Engineering and Technology. Today we will start a new chapter which is building construction. So without wasting much time, let's begin with the first lecture of building construction. Before constructing any building, we have to understand the various types of building and various components of the building. So today's topic is classification of building and building components. Let's start with classification of building. So buildings are classified based on two categories, based on occupancy and based on structure. Based on occupancy means based on purpose of the building. For that, the buildings are built. So first classification is based on occupancy. So buildings are classified based on occupancy into 9 broad groups. First group is Group A, which is residential type of building, which is used for living accommodation with or without kitchen facilities. The example of residential buildings are apartment, villa, bungalow, nursing home, etc. The second group is educational type of building, which are used for educational facilities like school, colleges, library, museum, etc. Third is Group C, which is called as institutional type of building, which is used for healthcare facilities or caring facilities. The example of institutional buildings are dispensary, medical facilities, old age houses, or jail. The next group is Group D, which is assembly type of building, the buildings where number of people are gathered for specific purpose, which is called as assembly buildings. The example of assembly buildings are church, temple, mosque, assembly hall, theaters, etc. Next type of building, which is Group E type of building, are business type of building. The buildings which are used for business purposes are called as business buildings. The example of business buildings are banks, offices, etc. Next group is Group F, which is mercantile building. The buildings which are used for selling of any materials is called as mercantile of building. The example of mercantile buildings are supermarket, mall, shopping mall, or any market, etc. Next group is Group G, which is industrial type of building. The buildings which are used for production of any material or any processes are called as industrial type of buildings. The example of industrial buildings are factory, water mill, foundry, power plant, windmill, tide mill, etc. Next group is Group H, which is storage type of building. The buildings which are used for storage of any material or any vehicle is called as storage buildings. The example of storage buildings are warehouses, cold storages, parking, etc. Next group is Group I, which is called as hazardous type of building. The buildings which are liable to explode by any material are called as hazardous type of building. The example of hazardous building are nuclear power plant or any research laboratories. These are the classification of building based on occupancy. Now let's move to the next classification of building, which is based on structure of the building. So based on structure, buildings are classified into 3 categories. First is load bearing structure, second is frame structure, and third is composite structure. We will discuss one by one. First is load bearing structure. The name itself shows the meaning, load bearing. In this type of structure, load is beared by walls of the building. Nowadays, load is transmitted by columns, but this is the load bearing structure in which load is transmitted by number of walls of the building. As you can see clearly on this figure also, first of all, load is occurred on the slab of the building, then it is transmitted into the load bearing walls, then it is transmitted into its wall footing, and then into the soil. This is the overall load transfer mechanism of load bearing walls. The example of load bearing structure are up to 3-story building or low rise structure or temple. Next type of structure is frame structure. Nowadays, every high story building or high rise building are made up of this type of structure, frame structure, in which RCC column is used as a main load bearing component. Here, load is transmitted from slab to beam, beam to column, column to column footing, and to the soil. The example of frame structure is high-rise building or multi-story building or tall building. Now we will discuss about the difference between load-bearing structure and frame structure. First difference is about its components. Here in load-bearing structure, the components are load-bearing wall and its wall footing, while in frame structure, the main component is RCC column, RCC beam and its footing. Next difference is load transfer mechanism. In load-bearing structure, load is transmitted from slab to load-bearing walls to wall footing, and wall footing to the soil. While in frame structure, load is transmitted from RCC slab to RCC beam to RCC column, and RCC column to the footing, and footing to the soil. This is the overall load transfer mechanism of load-bearing structure and frame structure. The next difference is in wall type. In load-bearing structures, all the walls are load-bearing walls, which are used as a load-bearing component. While in frame structure, all the walls are partition walls, which are used for partition of every rooms. Next is thickness of the wall. In load-bearing walls, because walls are used for transmission of load, so at the ground floor, thickness of the wall is more compared to the top floor of the building. So thickness increases from top to the bottom floor. While in frame structure, all the walls are partition walls, which are not used as a load-bearing component. So the thickness of the wall remains same for all the floors. Next is in carpet area. Because of increment in thickness of the wall from top to the bottom, the lower floor have lesser carpet area compared to the upper floors. While in frame structure, because thickness of the wall remains same in all the floors, carpet area is also remains same. Next is construction time. In load-bearing structure, construction time is more because brick masonry work requires more time compared to the RCC frame structure. Next is construction cost. Because load-bearing structure is made up of bricks, the overall cost of the building is less compared to the frame structure, because frame structure are made up of RCC members, which are reinforced cement concrete, which is much higher cost compared to the bricks. Next is life of the structure. Because we use bricks as a load-bearing component material, the overall life of the load-bearing structure is comparatively less than the frame structure. 9. Materials which are used in load-bearing structures are brick, mortar, etc. While in frame structure, we have used RCC members in which concrete and steel are used. So, overall strength of the materials are much higher than the load-bearing structure. And the last is soil strata. Load-bearing structure is constructed where good strata is available at shallower depth, while frame structure can be used at any greater depth. So, this is all about difference of load-bearing structure and frame structure. Now we will move to the third type of building based on structure, which is composite type of building. In this type of building, you can clearly see in this figure, the load is transmitted by load-bearing walls as well as columns. The outer territory of the buildings are load-bearing walls, while intermediate component which are used as a load-bearing component is this RCC column. So basically it is a combination of load-bearing structure and a frame structure. This type of structure is called as composite structure, which is used where large spans is required in any building, like godowns or industrial shade, etc. So this is all about classification of building based on structure. Now let's move to the second topic of today's lecture, which is building components. There is the one type model of the building and its cross section of the building. Here you can see buildings components are basically divided into two types: superstructure and substructure. This is the ground level. Above ground level, number of components are superstructure components, and below ground level, the components are called as substructure components. In substructure, only foundation is there, while in superstructure, number of components, like from the top you can see roof, parapet, lintel, sill, window, door, etc. These are the components of superstructure, while foundation is the component of substructure. Let's discuss one by one component and its function. First is foundation. This is the foundation of the building, which is used to transfer the load of superstructure to the soil. Second is plinth of the structure. It is above the ground level. One beam is filled by sand or other materials, which is used to resist rainwater coming into the house. Third is DPC layer. The full form of DPC is dam proof concrete. This is a one layer above the plinth, which is used to resist capillary action of groundwater to the wall. It reduces the moisture effect on the walls. Next is floor of the building. Fifth is wall. Sixth is sill. You can clearly see in this figure also. Sill is below the window. Is one type of beam which is used to support the window frame. Next is door. You can see it is used to enter any building or any room. Next is window, which is used for wind or ventilation purposes. Next is lintel. The ninth is lintel. You can clearly see in this figure also. Lintel is provided above the window. It is one type of beam which is filled to resist the load coming from the walls above the door or window. And the last is roof, which is used to resist the weathering action like rain, snow, etc. So this is all about the building components. That's all about today's lecture. Today we have discussed about classification of building and building components. I hope you all understand these two topics. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Civil Life.